We're headed towards one of Arizona's great adventure motorcycle roads, the Senator Highway. Today's ride starts out in Cleator at the Cleator Bar and Yacht Club. So Cleator started out in the 1860s as Turkey Creek. There was obviously a mine out here, attracted a bunch of people. Cool history. It is one of those ghost towns because people live here. In 1925, someone named Cleator came here, purchased the town, and named it Cleator. And it's had that since those days. The family owned it, I know, until the 2010 sometime, like 2013, 2014. I'm not sure if they still own it or not, but a lot of these homes in the general area are owned by other people. If you're looking for refreshments on your way up to Crown King, the Cleator Bar and General Store is a good place to get your whistle wet. Cleator actually ended up being a rail stop for the rail that came down from the Crown King area. It would loop around right behind you and actually take a right there and then head up toward Prescott. Ironically, this railroad superseded and made obsolete the road we're going on today. Well, let's jump back on the bike and get on the trail. Well, to get to Cleator from I-17, you either take the Bumblebee exit and head through Bumblebee. It's pretty well signed from there. Or take the Bloody Basin exit and head through Cordes Junction and down the mountain. They're down the hill. Both ways are pretty simple. And just to clarify, we are not yet on the Senator Highway. We've got to travel past Crown King. It's a mountain town. To actually get to the Senator Highway. And don't worry, the Senator Highway is not a paved road. It is a dirt road. So please beware. This is a huge off-road venue. Just this road to Crown King. And it's become self-evident today Jeep has some type of list of places you need to go in a Jeep, and you get some type of badge of asininity or something whenever you get to one of these places. And today you can really tell because there are a bunch of noobs in Jeeps that are just coming down here as fast as they possibly can and dusting everybody out and on my side of the road, and That's not to mention the side-by-sides, UTVs that come up here. I'm not complaining about everybody, but it's just something to watch out for. You don't want to bite the grill of some Jeep or side-by-side or pickup truck. As we roll along here, we are starting up the switchbacks that head up to Crown King. And as I mentioned earlier, whoa, this is deep sand here. It's all getting pushed down. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, this was all rail bed. This was, and you can see where we came up down there. That's our next layer. However, this was all rail bed for the railroad that provided service to the mines up here and to the town of Crown King. I'm not sure where they thought I was going to go. Definitely this road up here provides some of the best views of the trip. Coming up those switchbacks is just really gorgeous. Hey, we're down in up in Crown King now. Up there is the Crown King restaurant, or the mill, I should say. And if you cross this little bridge here, you will be in downtown Crown King. You definitely want to have your tank full when you come up the hill, because fuel is usually like $2 or $3 more than it is down the hill. There's the Crown King Mall there, just beyond. It says MJ's Tavern. Crown King Saloon. And the general store. So they don't want you parking there unless you're customer, and I'm not really going to go in. Usually I'll go in and buy something, but not today. So we did a little quick tour of Crown King. As you probably saw, there's a bunch of side-by-sides. Definitely if you want to meet up with a bunch of like-minded side-by-side folks, then this is definitely the place to be. It's very popular. However, this area, this whole Crown King area had a lot of mining activity starting in the 1860s. I think Crown King popped up somewhere in the 1870s. But it's a really good side stop here. When you leave, we'll be going back out over this bridge over here and back out onto the road. Definitely stop in the general store, even though I'm not today. I usually do. Pick yourself up a soda or water or something like that. Keep some support up here. And like I said, probably gas is not the best thing to buy here because it's going to cost you $3 or $4 more a gallon than it is down in civilization. And you know, definitely it takes a lot to get fuel up here. All right, all watered up. Fresh battery. Jump back on the road. And really coming through town here, be as respectful as you can. There's folks up here that live in cabins and stuff like that that don't deserve all the noise and the dust and stuff like that. Campsites and stuff. There's lots of dispersed camping just outside of town here, so little respect. When you get up the hill out of Crown King, there'll be an immediate right, and it's pretty well signed, and you're going to want to head towards Goodwin, 8 miles away, and Prescott, about 38 miles away. So this is the South Senator Highway. It's a Senator Highway. And we will be snaking in and out of lush pine forest and high desert, you know, juniper, chaparral, stuff like that, for the next multiple of miles. A note, at the making of this video, at the time of the making of this video, we've had probably 2 or 3 years of pretty decent rainfall. And then this last year has been bone dry. And the road out of Crown King was tore up from the floor up. Nothing nasty because the ruts and stuff like that have been driven over, so they're soft edged, but they're still there. And probably the biggest deal, because of the rain and then the dry conditions, there's a silt that develops that is slicker than snot. Whoa. I've got a really crappy front tire, and when you get on off camber like that, it just gives out. And that caught me by surprise. Anyway, this sand is, silt is a better word. And it's like talcum powder. If you ever change a tire, you can use talcum powder to lubricate your tire on. Really, conditions on the center of the highway can vary greatly from year to year. It could be everything from a real tore up mess, not like this year. This year wasn't torn up too bad, it's just not in the greatest shape. But then again, it could be just like a golf cart track. Some beautiful views coming up. We're coming down a pretty good descent here, and that means we're going to be taking a right-hand turn onto the Senator Highway and heading up towards Prescott. Speaking of Prescott, we are in the Prescott National Forest, just outside of Crown King on the south side of it. We entered the Prescott National Forest. So most of these have forest road numbers. If I'm not mistaken, Senator Highway is Prescott Forest Road number 52. And as promised, not so much of a turn, there's like a Y here, and then Forest Road 52 goes north and south. So we're on a little break here, right at that intersection where we start heading north towards Prescott. Thought it'd be worthwhile just to have a look around here. Just for reference, that goes towards Prescott, and going up around that way heads back towards Crown King. This heads back towards Wagner, and the Button Mine's down there, Minnehaha's down there. So there's a bunch of different trails you can take down that way, but it's a whole different story down there. And back up over that mountain is Crown King. Well, you can't beat the scenery here, for sure. Very pretty all the time. I can imagine what that wash down there is like when it's storming out. All right, off we go. So brief story behind the Senator Highway is highways built between Prescott and Senator Mine circa 1860s, 70s to serve that mine and the few mines that were around it, get ore back and forth to the assay office, and intermittently in there the city of Prescott was the capital of the territory of Arizona. And at a minimum, it was the county seat. So, very important that gold get into town and boost the economy. And sometime in the 1870s or 80s, this portion of the Senator Highway was built to serve the Bradshaw Mountains, particularly Crown King, but also the Button Mine and all the other little ones that were up here, and pulling more ore into the city of Prescott. All right, I have reached an impasse. It's a pretty good washout down here. Typically I would go through it, especially have somebody with me. However, in the last month I've had an emergency room visit and 2 botched surgeries, so I'm recovering from all that, and I don't think my level is up to even 60% right now. So let's go take a look and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So again, as any YouTuber will tell you, the GoPro, or it's not a GoPro, this is a DJI Osmo, but an action camera will not show you the steepness or rockiness or whatever. It doesn't do it justice. And this is not what I'm talking about right here. This stuff here is easy peasy. So there is a torrent of water. That wash that we saw up further, there was a torrent of water that came right down through here. And we start seeing some good size boulders here. And those aren't even just embedded, those are actually ledge. But as you get down here, you can see that it is all ledge and not a whole lot of fun. You could do this easy on a dirt bike. You could easily do it on a dual sport or an adventure bike. However, I would not suggest this for a noob or someone that's a little compromised like myself, because this stuff will get your goat pretty good. And this goes on for, say, about 40 yards, maybe even 50 if you count this run out over here, because it's still ledge here. And this ledge thing ends right about there. However, farther on down the road, or even farther on down the road, this, I walked it. Once you get through this, it's not bad, but it's pretty chunky down there. So for me today, I don't think that would be a good idea, because this right here would be probably tapping out my stamina for today. Really haven't got that built back up yet. However, getting through this, there's no respite for a ways, because it's still pretty chunky down there. And this is fairly steep running into this ledge. I don't know if you can tell, but that's kind of where my top of the screen is, probably somewhere where the top of my head is. And the bike's probably a good 10 feet above that. So there's a pretty good slope coming down here. So this is where I'm going to end the video. I don't want to sound like a big baby, but you got to know your limitations when you're out by yourself, a long way from civilization. I mean, Crown King's probably 8 or 9 miles back that way, but even Mayer's probably 25, and Prescott's probably about 40 from here. And I just don't, well, you don't want to push your limits. You got to learn what your limits are. So this is a good place to turn around for me. I'm going to jump back on the bike. I'm going to say goodbye here. I'll run the camera on the way back. If something exciting or something looks cool on the way back, I will film it. But I'm going to take the mic off and just let the camera run. I'm going to say goodbye here. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you watching. Please comment, subscribe, like and share, ding that bell so you get notified when I put up new videos. Adios.